You are crouched low beside the fire. The flames hiss, struggling against the cruel breath of the Ice Age night. Each gust of wind steals a piece of its strength, scattering sparks into the dark, where they vanish like dying stars. Your tribe presses close to the embers, a small ring of fragile bodies in a world that wants you gone. Your breath rises white in the air. The ground beneath you is frozen stone, biting through skin and bone. Above, the sky hangs heavy with clouds, swallowing the moon. It is not the cold that tightens your chest, not the hunger gnawing at your belly, not even the endless dark that stretches beyond the cave's mouth. It is the sound, a deep, rolling growl that slides across the snow like a blade across skin. The kind of sound that silences everything else, the crackle of fire, the shuffle of your kin, the whisper of the wind. Your heart stumbles, your muscles lock. Every part of you knows what waits beyond the firelight, the predator. It has stalked you for hours, shadowing the tribe's retreat through the black woods, silent as snowfall. You smelled it first, blood and musk drifting on the icy wind. Then the prince appeared, massive paws pressed deep into snow, each wider than your hand, each heavier than your body. Now it is here. A shape moves beyond the tree line. Shoulders like boulders roll beneath a pelt as thick as the winter itself. Golden eyes glimmer between the branches, unblinking, ancient. The fire catches on curved fangs, sabers, long as knives, glistening with hunger. The cave trembles with the weight of its step. Your kin press back against the stone wall, clutching crude spears and heavy rocks. One child whimpers before being hushed by a trembling hand. The fire sputters, smaller now, weaker. If it dies, you die. The predator knows this. It circles the firelight, each pawful deliberate, confident. Its muscles ripple with the grace of a creature shaped by 1,000,000 years of perfect hunting. Its kind has outlasted glaciers and storms. It has felled beasts 3 times your size. To it you are nothing. Your fingers tighten on the shaft of your spear. You know it will not pierce deep enough. Your arm will not throw far enough. Against this monster, your body is useless. You are slow. You are fragile. You are weak. But something burns inside you. Not in your hands, not in your muscles, in your mind. The fire dances in your eyes and the predator stops, just for a moment. Its ears flick back, its eyes narrow. For the first time, the beast is uncertain. The others feel it too. They shift closer, shoulder to shoulder. No one runs, no one scatters. Spears rise, voices whisper. A wall of fragile flesh, fragile wood, fragile courage. And yet, together, you look different. The predator growls, louder this time, shaking the marrow in your bones. But the sound no longer breaks you. You clutch the firebrand tighter, and the flames surge as if answering your call. In this moment, the law of the wild cracks. For hundreds of thousands of years, it has been the same. Man flees, beast feasts. But not tonight. Tonight you stand. Tonight you dare. And in the eyes of the predator, you see it. Hesitation. The first fracture in a chain older than memory. The first spark of a future not yet written. Because what if you are not the prey anymore? The growl is not just sound. It is memory. It is history. It is evolution carved into the marrow of your bones. For this is no ordinary hunter. This is Smilodon fatalis, the saber-toothed cat. The monster that haunted the dreams of your ancestors long before you ever learned to speak. It is a beast sculpted by the cold cruelty of time. Its skull, unearthed in tar pits and caves, reveals jaws that gape wider than any lion's, hinged like a trap built for breaking bone. Within them lie the sabers, curved daggers of ivory up to 8 inches long, honed by generations of blood. These are not teeth, they are executioner's blades. Its body is a fortress of muscle, weighing nearly 400 kilograms, shoulders tower higher than your chest. Its spine coils like a spring, its paws thick as war clubs, claws retractable razors. Every stride is a calculation of force. Every lunge is an equation of death. Its senses are sharper than hunger itself, eyes that pierce darkness, ears that catch the faintest crack of bone against stone, nostrils that drink the scent of fear from miles away. And for hundreds of thousands of years, this monster ruled. You, hairless, soft, weaponless, were not its rival. You were its ration. It brought you down as easily as deer, as easily as horses, as easily as the great mammoths when the herd broke and the weakest fell. You cannot match its speed. You cannot match its claws. You cannot match its jaws, which snap with a force strong enough to crush throats, to silence lungs, to tear you from the world in a single breath. For generations, this was the law. You lived at the mercy of beasts like this. Every step into the dark was a gamble. Every night beyond firelight was a sentence. The saber-tooth did not fear you. It did not need to, because compared to this animal, you were a mistake, an unfinished creature, naked and frail, wandering into the hunting grounds of perfection. And yet something is changing. The cat cannot see it, cannot smell it, cannot hear it. But in your eyes, lit by the fire, burns the one weapon evolution never gave to predators: imagination. The beast knows how to hunt. It has always known. But you, fragile, trembling, pathetic, you are beginning to know how to outthink, and that makes the monster mortal. You stand at the edge of the firelight, weapon trembling in your grip, and for the first time you understand the truth. You are not a warrior, you are not a predator, you are prey. Your body betrays you. Your skin is thin, naked against the cold. No fur to shield you from the wind, no armor to turn away claws. Every breath cuts you with ice, every gust reminds you that you were born unfinished. Your hands, those strange, clever hands, grip a spear, but the muscles in your arms are weak compared to the beast that stalks you. Its forelimbs could snap your bones like twigs. You can barely lift a mammoth's leg, let alone wrestle it to the ground. Your mouth carries no fangs. Your bite is a joke. Your nails are dull crescents of keratin, more suited for scratching roots than tearing flesh. Against tooth and claw, you are soft clay waiting to be carved. Even your speed is laughable. You cannot outrun the cat. You cannot outclimb the bear. You cannot outswim the crocodile. Every predator of this age is stronger, faster, sharper than you. This was not a fight. It was a physics problem. Muscle versus weakness, claw versus skin, instinct versus hesitation. And every answer meant your death. For millions of years, this was the balance. The great cats prowled the valleys. Hyenas the size of horses scoured the plains. Dire wolves hunted in packs, voices carrying across the tundra. Even the air trembled with wings of vultures waiting for you to fall. And where were you? Scavenging scraps, fleeing into caves, hiding in the shadows of beasts that ruled the land. You were not built to conquer. You were built to endure. And that endurance came with humiliation. The bones of your ancestors tell the story: skulls punctured by fangs, femurs gnawed and splintered, rib cages cracked like twigs. In the fossil record, you do not stand out as a hunter. You appear as leftovers, but even in weakness something stirred. Your eyes watched the fire. Your ears listened to the growl. Your mind, fragile yet restless, began to wonder, what if the balance could be broken? Because while the cat had claws, you had memory. While the wolf had speed, you had curiosity. While the bear had strength, you had imagination. It would not happen in one night, not in one generation. The law of prey and predator was too old, too deep, too merciless. But in the frail body of a trembling human, something invisible was waking. And when it finally rose, the world would change forever. The night presses in, heavy and endless. The growl of the predator lingers at the edge of the dark. Your tribe shivers, pressed close together, bones rattling with cold and fear. Then the ember stirs. A fragile glow, small as a firefly, yet alive. Fingers shield it from the wind. Breath feeds it, twigs cradle it, sparks leap upward, and suddenly the cave is no longer only stone and shadow. It is alive with light. Fire. At first it was an accident. Lightning striking dry grass. Lava spilling from the earth's wounds. A branch snapping in the storm, igniting into flame. For generations, your ancestors fled from it, fearing its hunger, its heat, its hunger for flesh. But then someone stayed. Someone reached out. Someone dared. Archaeologists will one day sift through the ashes of Jesha, but not Yaakov in the Jordan Valley, finding charred seeds and cracked flints from nearly 780,000 years ago. They will scrape blackened bone from the floor of Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, proof of controlled fire stretching back 1 million years. But in this moment, you don't know numbers. You don't know dates. You only know this. The world has changed. The flames crackle, spitting light into the dark. Shadows leap against the walls. The tribe gathers close, faces painted gold and red by the flicker. The warmth seeps into your skin, pushing back the frost. The smoke curls upward, carrying your scent away from the night. And outside the cave, the predator stops. The saber-tooth edges closer, its paws crunching the snow. But the fire flares, snapping, spitting sparks into the dark. The beast wrinkles. Its ears flatten. Its golden eyes blink, uncertain. For the first time in its ancient rule, the hunter hesitates. You watch as it circles, restless, growling low. It does not understand. It knows muscle. It knows fang. It knows fear. But this living light, it cannot fight. It cannot kill. It cannot devour. And in that hesitation lies your salvation. The fire burns more than wood. It burns away weakness. It drives the cold from your marrow. It stitches courage into trembling hearts. Around its glow, stories are born, passed from mouth to mouth, firelight flickering on every word. The flames whisper of hunts not yet taken, of predators driven back, of survival that does not mean fleeing but facing. The fire is more than warmth, more than weapon. It is memory, it is teaching, it is hope. And when the predator finally slinks back into the trees, you do not sleep in fear, you sleep in light. From this night forward, the dark will never fully own you again, because with fire you are no longer just prey. You are something new. The fire changed the night, but wood and stone would change the hunt. At first it was nothing more than a branch, broken, stripped, and sharpened at the end. A desperate extension of your arm, meant to jab at the dark when claws came too close. It did not always save you, but sometimes it bought a breath. Sometimes it bought another sunrise. Then came the leap of thought. What if the wood itself could be hardened by flame? In the caves of Schöningen, Germany, archaeologists would one day uncover them. Wooden spears over 300,000 years old, blackened at the tips, balanced like the weapons of warriors. Proof that your ancestors did not only carry fire, they fed it into wood, into weapons, into survival. The sharpened branch became the thrusting spear. The thrusting spear became the throwing spear. And with that throw, everything changed. For the first time, death could fly. You no longer needed to feel the hot breath of the predator on your skin, no longer needed to risk your flesh against claw and tooth. The distance became your shield. The sky became your weapon. But it did not stop there. The mind kept turning, restless, relentless. Stone points were knapped to deadly sharpness, lashed to shafts with sinew and resin. Some were barbed, designed not just to pierce, but to tear on the way out. Each one was a whisper of intent. We are learning to kill like you never could. Then came the atlatl, a carved lever of wood, simple in shape, godlike in effect. With it, a hunter's arm could hurl a spear farther and faster than muscle alone ever could. It multiplied strength. It turned frailty into force. Every invention was a rebellion. Every sharpened edge was a declaration. And the predators noticed. The lions that once charged without pause now circled wider. The hyenas that once stole your kills now weighed the risk. Even the great cats of saber and claw began to learn hesitation. The balance was not yet broken, but it trembled. For the first time you were not merely surviving. You were planning, you were testing, you were inventing death itself. And each weapon was more than wood and stone. It was memory, passed from one hunter to the next, from one tribe to another, across rivers, across mountains, across generations. The beasts could not change. Their claws remained claws. Their fangs remained fangs. Their instincts remained the same. But you were becoming something new, not just prey, not just survivor, a strategist, a builder, a maker of weapons the world had never seen before. And with every spear that flew, with every predator that turned back, the night itself began to tilt in your favor. The saber-tooth waits at the edge of the clearing. Its body is flawless, muscle, fang, instinct, a machine tuned by 1,000,000 years of blood. But it does not know it is being watched. Your tribe crouches in the tall grass, hidden, silent. Spears are ready. Firebrands glow low. For once, you are not the hunted. For once, you are the trap. This is the difference. The cat knows how to kill. It knows the stalk, the pounce, the crushing bite. Its knowledge is carved into its bones, carried in its blood. but it cannot imagine anything new. It cannot teach its cubs how to build fire. It cannot show them how to shape stone. Its wisdom dies with it. You, on the other hand, fragile, trembling, scarred, are building something invisible. Memory. You remember the hunt from the last winter, when a hunter stood too soon and the beast turned on him. You remember his screams. You remember how the fire scattered too late. And you tell that story again and again until no one in your tribe forgets. The predator cannot do this. Its mistakes die in the snow. Yours become lessons. Your mind is restless. It does not stop at survival. It questions. It tests. It dreams. What if the spear flies straighter with a heavier tip? What if the fire burns longer with resin-soaked branches? What if the hunt begins not when the beast arrives, but when you choose to draw it in? These questions are seeds, and each seed grows into strategy. This is your true weapon, not stone, not wood, not fire, but thought. The cat may be faster, the wolf may be stronger, the bear may be larger, but none of them can stand around a fire and argue. None of them can fail and then plan to fail better next time. And when your tribe begins to hunt together, to share ideas, to teach the young, you create something the predators can never match: culture. Culture turns memory into tradition. Tradition turns mistakes into wisdom. Wisdom turns fear into power. The saber-tooth crouches low, ready to spring, but you are already moving. Spears fly in arcs, flames roar higher, voices rise in unison. Chaos to the cat, coordination to you. This is not instinct. This is design. The predator learns the same lessons over and over in every generation. You carry your lessons forward, you sharpen them, you multiply them. And in this endless winter, that difference is everything, because claws dull, fangs break, muscle rots, but the mind endures. The night is no longer endless. It has borders now. Borders of fire, borders of stone, borders drawn not by nature, but by your mind. You no longer wait for the predator to strike. You prepare. The valley floor stretches wide beneath a pale moon. To the saber-tooth, it looks like the perfect killing ground. But you chose this place for a reason. The river runs on one side, fast and deep. A cliff rises on the other, jagged and sharp. There is no escape except forward into the teeth of your waiting spears. This is not accident. This is design. Your tribe has learned to use the land itself as armor. You place your fires at the perimeter, a circle of living light. At its edges, you scatter bones, shells, and stones, noise traps that will rattle when stepped on, betraying any beast that dares to creep close. Every detail matters. The fire is not just for warmth, it is a wall. The cliff is not just stone, it is a cage. The river is not just water, it is a barrier. What once was landscape has become weapon. Archaeologists will one day find traces of these choices. Campsites on high ridges, where the view stretches for miles. Shelters tucked into cliffs, their backs protected by walls of earth. Rings of burned wood where watchfires once roared against the night. They will see the planning, the pattern, the intention. But in this moment, it is not science. It is survival. The saber-tooth prowls at the edge of the clearing. It circles, confused by the flames. It growls, frustrated by the noise of crunching shells beneath its paws. It stalks forward, but each step brings it closer to the cliff, closer to the trap you have laid. And then it lunges. The fire flares. Spears rise. The beast finds itself not in open ground, but in a narrowing corridor of death. The cliff behind it, the river beside it, the fire before it, the tribe around it. No claws can change this. No muscle can undo this. The predator is caught not by your strength, but by your design. This is the power no beast can match. To shape the land, to bend the world, to make the earth itself part of your tribe. From this night forward, the ground beneath your feet is not just where you walk. It is where you fight, where you build, where you win. And for the first time, the predators of the Ice Age begin to learn something new. The land is no longer theirs. It is yours. The hunt does not begin with a spear. It begins with a whisper. Your tribe crouches in the shadows, eyes fixed on the mammoth herd below. The animals shift uneasily, their trunks low, their breath steaming in the frozen air. The saber-tooth watches too, hidden, ready to strike alone. But you are not alone. You have something the beast does not: voices. A flick of the hand, a hiss between teeth, a low hum, a rhythm beaten softly on a hollow log. These are not random noises. They are signals, instructions, a living map of intention. One hunter moves left, circling wide toward the river. Another edges right, torch ready, waiting for the command. Children stay behind with the fire, guarding the camp, singing softly to keep fear from breaking their courage. This is more than instinct. This is choreography. The cat hunts alone. It has no patience for delay, no plan beyond the pounce. Its muscles twitch and it leaps. Always the same story, always the same ending. But your story is different. When the signal comes, it is not one voice. It is many. A shout rises, answered by another. Torches flare, waving in patterns the prey cannot understand, but every hunter does. Feet stamp in rhythm, a thunder meant to confuse, to corral, to direct. Chaos to the mammoth. Order to you. The herd panics, moving where you want them to move, toward the cliff, toward the nets of vines, toward the sharpened stakes buried in the earth. Each voice matters. Each gesture matters. Each rhythm matters. Because alone, you are fragile. Together, you are something new. Archaeologists will later find scratches on cave walls, markings that may have been tallies, warnings, instructions. They will find bones arranged not randomly, but in patterns, signs of ritual, of memory, passed from one voice to another. This is the birth of something predators will never grasp: language as weapon. With it you shape not only the hunt, but the tribe itself. You pass down knowledge. You teach the young. You warn of dangers yet unseen. You dream of futures yet unmade. The saber-tooth still waits in the shadows. It crouches, muscles trembling, jaws ready to crush. But it is alone, always alone. Its roar dies in the night air, unshared, unlearned, forgotten when silence falls. Your roar is different. It is not the cry of one throat. It is the echo of many. It is the sound of survival multiplied. And in the Ice Age, that echo will outlast every fang. The hunt is over. The beast lies broken at the bottom of the gorge, its ribs cracked, its lungs pierced by sharpened spears. Blood seeps into the frozen earth. The tribe stands above, panting, trembling, alive. But survival is not enough. Not anymore. You gather around the fire. The flames flicker across faces hollowed by hunger and hardened by frost. And then something begins. A voice. Low, measured, like the steady beat of a drum. It is not hunting instructions. It is not warning. It is something new. The elder traces shapes in the dirt, lines of ash and bone that echo the steps of the hunt. His voice rises and falls, carrying memory in rhythm. Children listen wide-eyed. Hunters nod, remembering the moment when the herd turned, when the fire roared, when the spears struck. This is not just a story. It is survival preserved in words. Soon the tribe joins in. Some hum. Others stamp their feet. The shadows on the cave wall become alive with movement. Hands smear ochre on stone, painting mammoths, lions, the curve of the hunt itself. The kill is reborn in image, in song, in ritual. Why? Because the saber-tooth will return. Because the mammoth herds will wander again. Because if the young do not learn, the fire will die with you. Ritual is not a luxury. It is a weapon sharper than bone. Every gesture, every chant, every painting becomes a message carried forward through time. This is how we survived. This is how you will survive too. Archaeologists will one day find red ochre smeared on bones, handprints pressed into stone walls, and circles of skulls arranged with purpose. They will call it art. They will call it ritual. They may even call it religion. But for you, here in the firelight, it is simpler. It is armor for the mind. When you sing together, you forget fear. When you paint the hunt, you master it twice. When you give thanks to the spirits of the slain, you soften the terror of death with the promise of meaning. The saber-tooth does not do this. It kills, it eats, it sleeps. When it dies, it is gone. But you, fragile, trembling, skin and bone, you leave something behind. Memory, pattern, ritual, story. The fire crackles, the voices rise. The cave walls glow with new life. And in this moment, something shifts. You are no longer just surviving the night. You are building a world that will outlast it. You do not fight the predator head-on. You make the earth fight for you. The saber-tooth prowls with muscle and fang, but you walk with maps in your head. The ground is not just ground, it is a battlefield, a puzzle of survival. Your people learn quickly. Never camp in the low places where mist hides movement and claws slip through the dark. Instead, you climb. Hilltops become fortresses. The wind carries scents upward. Nothing can stalk you without warning. The slope itself becomes a shield, forcing predators to struggle while you rain spears from above. By rivers, you build barriers of wood and stone. Not walls, not yet, but choke points. Channels where animals must cross in single file, where even the mammoth cannot move in herds, where hunters wait with torches ready. The ground itself becomes your weapon. A pit dug and lined with sharpened stakes. A cliff edge disguised by brush. A ring of stones filled with fire, blazing like a wall the saber-tooth will not cross. What predators see as wilderness, you see as design. Noise becomes another tool. Bones strung on branches clatter when touched, warning of movement in the night. Shells piled at the edge of camp crunch underfoot, alerting all who sleep by the fire. Even the silence is measured, every rustle, every echo mapped in your mind. Archaeologists will one day find traces of this hidden architecture. Ancient campsites set on ridges, hearths placed with purpose, rings of stone aligned not randomly but strategically. To them, it will seem like planning. To you, here and now, it is life itself. Because the saber-tooth may have its claws, but you command the ground beneath its paws. And in this way, the earth itself becomes part of your tribe. It shields you. It speaks to you. It kills for you. For generations, you ran. For generations, you hid. For generations, every footstep in the dark was haunted by the growl of a beast that could end you in a heartbeat. But tonight, you do not run. Tonight, the predator runs from you. The fire blazes high, carried in torches that dance like living spirits. Spears, hardened in flame, glint red at their tips. Nets woven of sinew and branch stretch between trees, nearly invisible in the dusk. The tribe moves as one. No whispers now, only rhythm, only certainty. This is no ambush of desperation. This is design. A hunt planned not in moments, but in seasons. The target prowls ahead. A lion larger than any alive today, its mane wild, its roar shaking the forest. Or perhaps it is the saber-tooth, crouched in the tall grass, blades gleaming from its jaw. In another age, its shadow alone would have scattered you. But not now. The hunters circle wide, torches raised. The beast growls, confused, fire to its left, fire to its right. Spears whistle through the air, not close enough to strike, but close enough to sting, to remind it of distance no claw can bridge. It charges. The tribe does not scatter, they close in. One hunter screams, a challenge. Another swings a burning branch low, sparks showering across the beast's muzzle. It rears back, blinded. From the shadows, two more hunters step forward, spears leveled, steady, waiting. The predator thrashes. The predator bleeds. The predator falters. And for the first time, the Ice Age night does not end with human blood soaking the ground. It ends with silence. A silence filled not with loss, but with victory. The tribe gathers around the fallen beast. Their hands touch its fur, its teeth, its sabers. Some in awe, some in fear, some in reverence. This is no ordinary kill. This is a message. The balance has shifted. You are no longer prey. You are hunters of the hunters. And from this night onward, the world itself will feel the change. The mammoth will fall. The aurochs will fall. Even the great cats, the giants of claw and fang, will fall, not because you are stronger, not because you are faster, but because you are something they can never be, a mind that can turn terror into triumph. The fire crackles. The tribe lifts its voices. A song begins, not of fear but of conquest. And in that song lies the truth of the new world. The age of predators is ending. The age of hunters has begun. The beast lies dead. Its hide stripped, its meat carved, its fangs kept as trophies. The tribe feasts, firelight dancing on faces painted in ash and ochre. But in the silence between songs, something stirs. Victory has changed you. Once, you huddled together for safety, bound by fear. Now, fear is no longer enough. You have tasted conquest. You have tasted power. And power is dangerous. Two hunters argue by the fire, voices rising like sparks. Who cast the first spear? Who drove the beast into the trap? Who deserves the lion's tooth, the saber's fang, the prize that proves the kill? The argument grows, a shove, a fist, a cry. Blood spilled not by claw but by hand. The tribe pulls them apart, but the damage lingers. For the first time, the enemy is not only outside the firelight, it is inside. Archaeologists will one day uncover fractured skulls, sharpened flint buried in bone, grave dug not for beasts but for men. They will speak of the first murders, the first rivalries, the first wars. But here, in the Ice Age night, it is simpler. Hunger sharpens tempers, victory awakens pride, and pride demands blood. The fire has given you more than survival. It has given you choice, to share or to hoard, to protect or to betray, to build or to destroy. The saber-tooth cannot betray its own. It hunts alone, dies alone. But you live together, and togetherness breeds conflict as much as strength. The cost of victory is not measured in meat or fur. It is measured in trust. And trust, once broken, is harder to mend than bone. Still, the fire burns. Still, the tribe sings. But beneath the harmony, another sound lingers, the whisper of division, the promise of war. For you have conquered the beasts. Now you must learn to conquer yourselves. The first time it is only smoke. A thin column rising beyond the hills, too steady, too high for forest fire. Another fire. Another tribe. Your people watch from the ridge, silent. For countless seasons, you believed the world belonged only to you, your kin, your songs. But the earth is wide, and the ice hides many secrets. The strangers arrive at dusk. Their voices carry on the wind, strange tones, strange rhythms, but undeniably human. They move with spears. They laugh around their fire. They sing to the night just as you do. And with that sound the world changes. For where there is one tribe, there is a brother. But where there are two, there is a rival. The elders debate. Do you welcome them? Do you approach with gifts of meat and flint? Or do you sharpen your spears, fearing that theirs are already pointed at your hearts? The strangers do not wait for your answer. At dawn they are gone, but in the dirt you find footprints. Too close, too near your camp. The lesson is carved into your bones. The world is no longer empty. Every river may have watchers. Every cave may have fire already burning. Every hunt may end in battle, not with beasts but with men. Archaeologists will one day find scattered bones with spear points buried deep. They will call them signs of conflict, of raiding, of war. They will find camps abandoned suddenly, treasures left behind in haste. Proof that survival was not only a fight against predators, but against your own kind. Yet not every meeting ends in blood. Sometimes, when food is plentiful, hands are offered instead of weapons. Flint is traded for shells, skins for ochre. Songs are shared, stories told. In these moments, humanity grows stronger, not weaker. But the danger never fades. The tribe across the river may be ally today, enemy tomorrow. And in the Ice Age, there is no law but strength, no rule but survival, so you sharpen your spears. You teach your children to watch the horizon. And when the smoke rises again, you know this. The beasts of the earth are no longer your only rivals. The greatest predator you will ever face looks like you. The saber-tooth hunts with instinct, the wolf with pack order, the eagle with patience. But you hunt with plans. The world no longer bends to chance. It bends to your design. Your tribe gathers not only around the fire, but around ideas. Stones are drawn through the dirt to mark paths. Hunters trace the slope of the hill with fingers, mimicking the chase. Elders speak in gestures, in grunts, in rhythm, laying out what will happen before it happens. This is more than survival. This is strategy. The hunt begins days before the spears fly. Scouts track the herd, counting its numbers, watching its movements. Runners move silently along ridges, mapping the terrain. Firewood is gathered not for warmth, but for signal fires and torches. Every step is rehearsed in the mind before it is taken on the earth. And when the moment comes, it is not chaos. It is choreography. Hunters drive the mammoths toward the bog, where their weight sinks them into the mud. Others wait with spears ready, not to chase, but to finish what the earth has already claimed. The wolves arrive to steal the kill, but they are not surprised. The tribe is waiting for them too. Spears thrust in unison, a shield of fire drives the pack back into the night. It is the same with rivals. The tribe across the river does not simply attack. They raid when the hunters are gone, when your camp is weakest. They strike for food, for tools, for women and children. And so you learn. You leave sentries at the edges of camp. You build hidden caches of meat, buried in stone pits, beyond their reach. For the first time, survival is not only about strength, it is about foresight. Archaeologists will one day find kill sites littered with bones, arranged in patterns too precise to be chance. They will see pits lined with sharpened stakes, enclosures shaped by fire and stone. They will find evidence of ambushes, of tactics, of cunning, proof that the mind was your deadliest weapon. The predators do not change. They repeat what they have always done. But you evolve not in flesh, but in thought. And with every plan that succeeds, with every rival defeated, with every hunt turned into certainty, you become something new. Not prey, not hunter, but general. The fire no longer only warms your body, it illuminates the battlefield of tomorrow. And under its glow, you imagine what no other creature on earth can, a future that belongs to you. Knowledge is never free. Every lesson is bought with blood. The tribe knows this truth well. The fire burns bright tonight, but there are fewer faces around it. Empty places where brothers once sat, where children once laughed. Their absence is louder than any roar of predator. The elders do not speak of it directly. Instead, they tell the story of the hunt, the success, the courage, the kill. But everyone remembers who fell beneath the mammoth's tusks. Everyone remembers the scream cut short by the saber-toothed jaws. Every plan has a cost. When you dig pits to catch prey, sometimes it is your own who stumble first. When you set fire to the grasslands to drive the herd, sometimes the wind turns and flame devours hunter instead of beast. When you face rivals across the river, sometimes they strike faster, harder, cleverer. The blood price must be paid. Archaeologists will one day uncover skeletons scarred with wounds that never healed, broken bones fused crooked, skulls split and mended. They will see lives cut short, grave filled with red ochre, bodies laid carefully as though memory itself could heal the loss. They will call it ritual, but for you, it is mourning. Around the fire, the mothers sing low songs for those who will never return. The hunters sharpen their spears in silence, each stroke a reminder of what they owe to the dead. Children press against their mothers, eyes wide, learning the oldest truth. Survival is never without sacrifice. The saber-tooth does not know grief. The wolf does not weep for the fallen. But you carry your dead with you. Their memory weighs as heavy as stone. And strangely, that weight becomes strength. You remember their mistakes, so you do not repeat them. You honor their courage, so you may borrow it. You tell their stories, so their deaths are not wasted. The blood price of knowledge is terrible, but it buys you something no other creature possesses. Wisdom carried forward. You bury your dead. You carry their scars. You sharpen your mind as you sharpen your spear. And as the firelight flickers across faces hardened by loss, you know this. The predators still rule the night, but every life they take buys you another weapon, another story, another chance. The price is high, but the debt is being paid. It begins with a meeting, not of beasts, not of prey, but of people. Your band has grown thin. The last winter was cruel. Hunger gnawed, sickness stole, and the snow buried too many grave. But beyond the frozen ridge, another tribe endures. You meet them first in silence, spears lowered, firelight glinting in wary eyes. They are like you, yet not. Their songs carry different rhythms. Their hands paint the hunt with symbols your tribe does not know. Their scars tell stories of battles against enemies you have never faced. For a heartbeat, the old rule holds, strangers mean danger. But then something happens. A child laughs, one of theirs, one of yours, and the silence cracks. What begins in suspicion ends in firelight. Meat is shared. Words are traded, half gestures, half sounds, yet enough to bridge the gulf. And slowly a choice is made. You do not fight these people, you join them. From two bands, a clan is born. The nights grow louder. Maori voices rise in song. The hunts grow bolder, more coordinated. Where once you struggled to defend the camp, now guards are posted in shifts, warriors with sharpened spears standing ready through the night. Children chase each other between the fires, watched over not by one mother, but by many. Bloodlines weave together. Marriages seal alliances. Knowledge flows. How to nap a sharper blade, how to stitch hides tighter against the cold, how to track by broken branches and bent grass. What one tribe knew, both now remember. Archaeologists will one day find the traces. Larger campsites with dozens of hearths, burials marked with shells from distant coasts, bones of animals brought down by numbers too great for a single band. They will see the evidence of a new force, not the lone hunter, not the small tribe, but the clan. And with the clan comes power. A roar not of one throat, but of many. A shadow not of 10, but of 50. A presence in the land that even the predators begin to sense. But with power comes new dangers. Clans can defend, clans can conquer. Clans can wage war not only against beasts, but against each other. Still, as the fire crackles and the night is filled with voices, you know this. The clan is more than safety. It is memory. It is identity. It is the first step toward something greater than survival. For in this union of families, in this chorus of voices, humanity discovers its truest weapon, togetherness. The land itself breeds warriors. Endless cold, endless hunger, and now endless rivals. The clan thrives, but not alone. Across the valley, smoke rises, not the smoke of wildfires, but of hearths, another people, another claim to the hunting grounds. At first, the air thickens with tension. Eyes meet across the frozen river, hands rest on spears, the silence of wolves before the strike. And then it breaks. One night, your camp is shaken awake by screams. Shadows flood the firelight, spears stabbing, clubs swinging. They are human, but to you, in the frenzy of blood and bone, they feel like beasts. One of yours falls. Another fights back, striking wood against skull until it cracks. The snow runs red. The war begins. You learn quickly. No longer are spears only for mammoths, they are for men. No longer do you hunt only prey. You hunt rivals, the warriors rise. Men and women both, hardened by ice and fire, sharpened by necessity. They are chosen not only for strength, but for ferocity, for cunning, for fearlessness in the clash of clans. Archaeologists will one day find fractured skulls, broken forearms, obsidian blades buried in ribs. They will trace the scars of humanity's first wars back to this age, when survival demanded not only the hunt, but the defense of fire and kin. But to you here, in the blood and smoke, war is no abstraction. It is the night watch, listening for footsteps in the dark. It is the preparation of traps not only for beasts, but for men. It is the sharpening of stone points until your fingers bleed, because tomorrow you may need them to pierce human flesh. And yet even war breeds change. The warriors bring discipline, they bring courage, they bring ritual. Before battle, chants rise. Faces are painted with ash and ochre. Children watch with wide eyes as their kin transform from hunters into something new, fighters, defenders, killers of men. The predators of the Ice Age still stalk the forests, but something greater now hunts the land. Something no beast can match. The warrior, the human weapon, the blade in the dark, wielded not by instinct, but by will. And as the clans clash, as warriors fall and rise again, humanity forges yet another piece of itself. No longer merely prey, no longer merely survivors, but conquerors of each other. And in that crucible of violence, the seeds of power are sown. The battlefield is silent now. The snow hides the blood, but the bodies remain. Some are yours. Some are theirs. All are heavy with meaning. You crouch beside the fallen, hands trembling over cold flesh. The clan could leave them to the wolves and ravens. That is nature's way. But something inside resists. These are not beasts. These are not carcasses. These were kin. Hunters, warriors, mothers, children. And so begins the ritual. The clan gathers stones, piling them into cairns. Others dig into the frozen earth, clawing past ice and dirt to make a resting place. Skins are wrapped around the bodies. Tools are left with them, spears, scrapers, beads carved from bone. The dead will not hunt again, but still they are given weapons. Not for survival, for honor, for the journey beyond. You do not know where the dead go, but you feel in your marrow that they go somewhere. In the darkness of the cave, ochre paints the walls. Shapes of mammoths, horses, and humans in dance. A handprint pressed in red, a mark saying I was here, and so will I remain. A skull is placed in the firelight, decorated with feathers, ochre, and ash. Children are told stories. This one fought the lion, that one found fire, another taught the clan how to shape stone. The dead become more than memories. They become ancestors, guardians, spirits. Archaeologists will one day find these grave. The Shanidar cave in Iraq, where Neanderthals placed flowers beside the body of a fallen one. Burials lined with red ochre, bones adorned with necklaces of shells brought from far-off seas. They will whisper of belief, of reverence, of humanity stepping beyond mere survival into something sacred. But here, in this moment, it is raw. The wind howls outside the cave. The firelight dances against painted walls, and the clan kneels together, heads bowed, as chants rise for the first time, not to each other, but to the unseen. The dead are not gone. They walk in the storm. They breathe in the fire. They linger in the stone. And in this recognition of spirit, in this shaping of death into story, humanity takes another leap. For memory is no longer fleeting. It is carved, sung, painted, buried. It is passed on. The wolves may hunt in packs. The lions may roar in pride. But only humans whisper to their dead. And in those whispers lies the first echo of gods. The fire is your first god. It crackles, roars, devours. It gives life, yet threatens to consume if left untended. Around it, the clan gathers. The hunters return, the children curl into their mother's arms, the elders lean forward with eyes full of memory. And when the silence grows heavy, someone begins to speak, not of the hunt just past, not of the storm outside, but of before. They tell of the great lion that once prowled the valley, larger than any seen today, its eyes glowing with firelight, its roar splitting mountains. They tell of a hunter, your ancestor, who stood alone, spear in hand, and struck the beast down. The fire pops, the children gasp, and the myth takes shape. The clan believes, because belief gives strength. Soon, stories spread from fire to fire. The sun is no longer just light. It is a great spirit that walks the sky, watching over all. The moon is a hunter who follows silently, keeping guard when the day rests. The stars are the campfires of the dead, flickering in the darkness above. You begin to see signs where once there was only chance. A broken branch becomes an omen, a storm becomes a warning, a dream becomes a prophecy, and myths grow. They explain why the mammoths return each season, why the rivers freeze and thaw, why the dead still whisper in the wind. Archaeologists will one day uncover carvings of strange figures, half man, half beast. They will find painted caves where shamans once traced visions of spirit journeys. They will see the bones of bears arranged with reverence, as if the clan sought to honor or bargain with their spirits. For the Neanderthals, these myths are not entertainment. They are survival. A story teaches courage before the hunt. A ritual chant steadies hands before battle. A shared myth binds the clan tighter than fear ever could. In myth, the world becomes more than cold and hunger. It becomes alive, mysterious, sacred. And in that sacredness, humanity forges meaning. The beasts of the Ice Age still stalk the forests, their power undeniable. But now you walk with more than spears and fire. You walk with belief, with stories that turn terror into order, chaos into destiny. And the clan, gathered close beneath the stars, knows this truth. So long as the stories are told, the people will endure. So long as the myths are remembered, the clan will never truly die. For the greatest weapon of humanity is not stone or fire, it is imagination. The herd thunders across the frozen plain. Dozens of mammoths, their tusks gleaming like ivory moons, their bellows shaking the ground. For most of history, they were untouchable, a beast too massive, too dangerous for fragile flesh and brittle bone. But now the clan waits, not in fear, in formation. You are crouched in the tall grass, heart hammering. Beside you, hunters grip their spears, their breath misting in the cold air. Across the valley, others circle wide, waving torches, driving the herd toward the trap. It is no accident. It is no miracle. It is design. The cliff edge rises before the mammoths, hidden by snow and shadow. The herd stampedes forward, panicked by fire, corralled by human voices. And then chaos. The first mammoth plunges. The second follows. The ground trembles as bodies crash into the ravine, the air thick with screams of rage and fear. The hunt is not one spear against one beast. It is a battlefield, an ambush measured in fire, stone, and human will. Archaeologists will one day uncover the bones of mammoths shattered at the base of cliffs, piled high by coordinated hunts. They will find the remains of hundreds of animals slain in single events, proof of something terrifying. Humanity had learned not only to hunt, but to dominate. This is no longer survival. This is conquest. The hunters descend, spears flashing, finishing the wounded giants. Blood sprays across snow, hot against the cold. The clan roars in triumph. For this kill means more than meat. It means hides for warmth, bones for tools, sinew for bindings, fat for lamps. One kill feeds the clan for weeks, and so the hunters are honored. Songs are sung. Children are named for the beasts brought down. Stories are carved into stone walls, preserving the memory of the hunt for generations yet unborn. But in the triumph lies a shadow. For when humans learn to master the hunt, they also learn to strip the land. Too many kills, too many traps, and the herds begin to thin. The balance that held for thousands of years begins to tilt. Still, in this moment, the fire blazes and the meat roasts. The clan feasts as if immortal. And you, standing over the fallen giant, feel the weight of something greater than hunger or survival. You feel destiny. For the beasts of the Ice Age, no matter their size, no matter their strength, are no longer untouchable. Not before the clan, not before the hunters, not before humanity, the master of the hunt. The world grows quieter, not with silence, but with absence. Once, the plains shook beneath the tread of giants, mammoths with spiraled tusks, woolly rhinoceroses armored like living fortresses, towering elk with antlers like trees. The air was thick with their scent, their shadows long against the horizon. But now they are fewer, their herds scattered, their numbers thinned. You remember when the mammoths roamed in hundreds, when the ground seemed to pulse with their steps. But now only a handful appear each season, weary, scarred, hounded from valley to valley. It is not only the cold that takes them, it is you. The clan's weapons have grown sharper, the hunts more cunning, the traps more merciless. Once bringing down a mammoth was myth, now it is routine. Once lions and bears followed the herds, now they scavenge what your clan leaves behind. The balance has shifted, forever. Archaeologists will one day find the evidence, butchery marks carved into mammoth bones, entire kill sites littered with the remains of beasts slaughtered in numbers too great for mere hunger. They will see the story written in extinction, the trail of vanished giants stretching across continents. But here now, you do not think of extinction. You think of survival. You feast on the flesh, clothe yourself in the hide, carve tools from the bones. Children play with tusks larger than their bodies, laughing as if the world will never change. Yet the elders know. They see the herds thinning. They hear the silence where once the valley roared with life. And with that silence comes unease. Who will you become when the giants are gone? What will the stories tell when the beasts of legend walk no more?